Hello, dear friends. This is The Medium's Harvest. The Medium's Harvest is a book that is coming about in English as we speak. Now in this, the second two-thirds of the book are thanks to the translation of Friends at the Spirit Side of Virginia. And the first third was from the Friends of the Inner Enlightenment Spiritist Society. We're very grateful to them and grateful to everybody who is helping. We have been studying this book, The Medium's Harvest by Emmanuel, as an opportunity to learn more about mediumship, but ourselves. It's about ourselves. And the book, The Medium's Harvest by Emmanuel, was put together as a tribute. It was a tribute to the Medium's book. And today, the chapter 34, Deserters, is relying upon three topics of the Medium's book, which begin on item 220, the laws and suspension of mediumship. Above all, Kardec is asking, can mediums lose their faculty? And the spirits replied, this frequently happens. And would the exhaustion of fluid be the cause of the loss of mediumship? The answer, whatever medium's ability may be, they have no ability whatsoever without the sympathetic cooperation of spirits. Whenever they do not receive anything, it is not always because they lack the faculty, but frequently because spirits do not want or are even unable to use them. 3. What causes spirits to abandon mediums? The way in which they use their mediumship is what most influences good spirits. We may abandon them when they use it on futilities or for ambitious purposes, or when they refuse to transmit our words or to collaborate in producing phenomena for incarnates who beseech them or who need to see them in order to be finally convinced. Okay. Emmanuel brings those informations, that information, and breaks it down in the Medium's Harvest. Chapter 34, titled Deserters, which means those who abandon. Why? We want to know why Emmanuel talks about that. Because Kardec is telling us, quite interestingly, that the attitude of the medium before the use of mediumship is what contributes to the loss of mediumship, right? So, based on those, Emmanuel says, in a meeting on May 13th, 1960, deserting mediums are not only those who fail to faithfully transmit signs and words, warnings, and observations from the spiritual sphere to the physical sphere. The stream of life flows from individual to individual, and all of us, incarnates and discarnates, of any condition are called, all of us, incarnate and discarnate of any condition, are called to fight for the victory of the eternal good. Interesting, huh? This is quite interesting. Deserters are also, now, a list, huh? I'm going to tell you how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 cases. Emmanuel is going to tell us that deserters are not only those who do not fulfill their role as a bridge. In this case, the deserting mediums, he's saying. But those who do not follow through the call to fight for the victory of the eternal good. So, case number 1, deserter are also those who store the bread to no avail, sheltering themselves in trenches of, converting cereals into empty dollar signs. Those who preach religious and social virtues sheltering themselves in trenches of usury. Those who close schools, opening prisons. Those who transform the keys of science into golden picklocks. Deserters are those who raise eating houses, diverting resources that should be applied to heal the pains of the fellow beings. Those who exterminate children in formation, guaranteeing impunity in the silence of the victim themselves. Deserters are also mothers who, without reason, mute their tubes of life in the sanctuary of their own bodies, intoxicated with pleasures that are going to end in madness. Deserters are those who demean the intelligence, selling emotions in the market of addiction. Deserters are those who drown slowly in alcohol. Deserters are also those who kill time so that time does not give them responsibility. Deserters are also those who spend their time censoring the attitudes of others, forgetting their duties. Deserters are those who walk in the world with all desires satisfied. Deserters are those who feel no need to work. Deserters are those who cry out against ingratitude without examining the problems of supposed ungrateful ones. Deserters are those who think they will buy heaven, giving a cent to the service of charity and reserving millions to drive their own descendants crazy in the inventories of blood and hatred. Deserters are those who condemn and curse instead of understand and bless. Deserters are those who have lost their simplicity and need an ivory tower to live. Deserters are those who become dead weight, making difficult the course of good works. Desertion. If we bring such a scourge, correction for us. And if we see it in others, compassion for them. Clearly, Emmanuel is always striking in the way he makes us feel the teachings that are brought by Kardec. It's not enough for us to know that it's possible to lose our mediumship, to have it suspended, and the reasons why. More than that, we need to understand the implications for the immortal soul. So, it's clear for us here that Emmanuel is lining up a list of desertions in our daily lives. Sunshine is saying, I'm not so sure that I understand what deserters stand for. Is it not deserted, namely by good spirits? No, the people who give up, who desert a task, and that's what he calls deserter. The people are deserters. Okay, Sunshine? And that's what he's saying. In life, the stream of life flows from individual to individual. And all of us, both incarnates and discarnates, are called to fight for the victory of the good. And many people don't know it. For example, they're pregnant. And they're like, I don't want this kid. Well, but God wants you to have the kid. No, you didn't put the seed inside of you. Even if you had sexual relationship, you didn't do it with your hand. Conception in itself does not happen because you want it to happen. Because there are many mothers who want to be pregnant and they are not, though they go through the whole process. So that life has a reason for the good. And when people commit abortion, he says, those who exterminate children information, abortion. I know it's a hard topic. I know what he is saying tonight is a blow in our face, but he doesn't mean it. He's just helping us understand the depth of the vibratory state of desertion. He's saying it's not only to fail as a medium. For example, a deserting medium is the one that receives a letter, like a mailman or mailwoman, receives a package and does not deliver. Failing, right? Or simply stops the career, feeling like, I'm not gonna do it. As a medium, I may receive a message and not deliver. And I do not faithfully transmit the message. But that's not the only desertion that happens. We're talking about a vibratory condition. A vibratory condition. So Emmanuel goes deeper and says, it's as if Emmanuel is saying, you should go to the core of life and ask why anybody would desert a noble task. Because noble tasks are not only connected to mediumship. And then he outlines, it's when you have money for yourself and you don't share with others. And people are like keeping the money. I know of several stories of people who accumulated a whole lot of sum. And one day, somebody called them and they were under a scheme. They lost everything. They had to go back to work in their retiring age. There is no guarantee. There is no guarantee. Does it mean we shouldn't save money? No. But does it mean we should only save money for personal reasons, family reasons, forgetting about the universal family? We don't think so. Those who preach religious and social virtues, sheltering them in trenches of usury. Yes, then imagine we are here and then tomorrow we forget about everything and just have a lavish banquet at home, forgetting those who are suffering, forgetting all the teachings, those who close schools and open prisons. It sounds a lot like politicians, a lot. Those who transform the keys of science into golden picklocks. Those who raise 18 houses, but they open, but they don't use the resources, they divert it. That's what he's saying. Yeah, it's a lot about the politicians as well. Those who exterminate children information, abortion. Mothers who stop having children just because they want to enjoy life. That's a question for us. Those who demean the intelligence. Let me go back to these mothers and fathers or parents in general who decide no longer to have more children. And the reasons why, because I don't want to be bothered, because I don't want to have that much work. And the question for us, it's okay to plan as long as we plan for non-selfish reasons. Like I'm going to use my time helping others, good causes. But let's say in the Spirit book, the law of reproduction, there are questions regarding celibacy as well. And the spirits say to simply, even not only having children, but have no relationship whatsoever, but just to feel that you're not going to be in need of giving of yourself is selfishness. One thing is Mother Teresa, not getting married, but helping others, like Divaldo Franco, Chico Xavier. And another is for us to be married or not, and not have children of our own. And it's not by chance that they say mothers, because women have the power of giving life. So when we don't use our reproductive vessel to give new life, ostensibly, we will go super depressed, inevitably, because life is knocking at our door saying, open it up, I want to go in. Open it up, I want to go through. And we're saying, no, thank you. Not me. No, 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 thank you. So a good tip is to do this. Say a prayer to God. And say, God, it's fight for the victory of the eternal good. Saying, God, you created me. This reincarnation is about fulfilling your will. The other reincarnations were about doing what I wanted. This one, I want to do what you want. I want to learn it. Please show me the way. And if I don't have the courage to have the children that I need to, and if I do need them, I'm no longer going to block the way. I'm no longer going to create obstacles. And let it be. I'm not saying not to plan. But there are cases in which people don't have children because they don't feel capable. They don't feel encouraged. They feel almost like handicapped emotionally. But you know, it's not about what you think, it's about God. What does God want you to do? And if you need to go through that vessel, do it. It's a blessing. You know, we cannot stop the circle of life. We're not saying go ahead and have 10,000 kids. But do not, he says, these are Emmanuel's words, mothers who without reason mute the tubes of life in the sanctuary of their own bodies, intoxicated with pleasures they're going to end in madness. And sometimes pleasures is not necessarily sexual pleasures, it's sometimes just the pleasure of doing selfish life. Those who demean the intelligence selling emotions in the market of addiction. People who do not work on their deeper, and this intelligence here is not the cognitive only. It's emotional, spiritual intelligence, new learning experiences. Pause for a second. Right now, think about the many things we could be learning today. And we are not. Just because we're past the age of going back to school. And many people are like, no, but I'm done learning. But when are we ever done learning? And then if we don't push ourselves to more noble levels, inevitably we're gonna be vibrating our, and I'll say this kindly, uselessness, because we are becoming lazy, useless, even if we work. But life is saying, take another step. A new year's coming up. Why not starting a new course in the center, anywhere? It doesn't need to be a graduate school, new college. No. It can be like going to Michael's, the arts and crafts store in the United States, and taking a course on, I don't know, knitting. I don't know, it's even Waldorf schools. The Waldorf education talks about the importance of developing emotions and spirituality as we do knitting. You know, knitting? A scarf, hat, socks. But not only that, he says, those who drown slowly in alcohol. And because this is pre-holiday, we're in the holiday season. And I know many people tell me, Vanessa, I don't know how to go through the holiday season without drinking. So it's good to know. Those who do social drinking, they are considered deserters. Emmanuel is telling us. They are vibrating desertion because they are not fighting for the victory of the eternal good. Those who kill time, so that time does not give them responsibility. You know, people who wake up and like, I don't know, let's go to the store. Why? Because we have nothing else to do. That's called killing time. Okay, you go to Starbucks, you drink some coffee and say, okay, let's go somewhere else. Oh no, let's stay here, we have nothing else to do. And then we're killing time. We could do something more useful. Do you remember the definition? What is the definition of work in Spiritism? It says, any useful occupation. Of course, talking to a good friend is very useful, but talking for some time, not the whole time, unless we're talking about a project that is going to benefit others. Okay, but it's just talking for talking, chatting and gossiping, and then, oh, but I need that, but then we're killing time. Those who spend their time censoring others and attitudes, forgetting their duties. Yes, it's like the inquisitors of the past, and many of us reincarnate and we have the same tendency to get together just to say, create a prohibition list. These people are not good, these books are not good, and we think we're doing great, we're doing a favor to Spiritism. And Emmanuel say, no, you're not. You're doing a disservice to you and to humanity, because you're forgetting your duty, and your duty is not to be pointing fingers. Your duty is actually to work. And he says, those who walk in the world with all desires satisfied. There are people who are incapable of doing anything with pleasure if they dislike what they are doing. It's almost paradoxical what I'm saying, but it's true. There are people who they say, Vanessa, I don't do anything that I don't want to do. I only do the things that I like to do. I'm like, that's not good. So you know, good tip. Teach your children to learn to do things they dislike. At home. No, but I don't want. Like for example, today, Virginia was watching a cartoon and we were allowing her to watch it, but we were together. And after some time, I mentioned, Virginia, now we're going to choose one thing. We're not used to TV, but today we were forced staying home because she's recovering. And I said, you know, let us choose something that Dad, you and I can watch together. And then she was like, but I like this. And I said, I understand, but Dad likes something else, Mom likes something else. We need to find something in common, because that's called equality. You have the same right as everybody else. We need to be kind to everybody. And then she understood. But if we don't push our children to do things that they dislike now when they're little, when they're older, they're going to be unbearable beings. Beings that are so spoiled that nobody's going to be around them, because they only do the things that they like and they don't care what people like. They're not empathetic. They're not altruistic. So teaching them that is not going to make them weak. It's going to make them strong. And I know parents who tell me, I'm afraid of teaching them empathy and altruism because I feel people are going to use them, abuse them, and run over them. I don't think so. I've never heard of that. I've never read any study in psychology saying that when you teach altruism and empathy to children, they're going to be weak adults. On the contrary, they're going to be emotionally more resilient, less stressed out, more enduring in the tasks that they need to do. They're going to be less susceptible to the vulnerabilities of life. So, those who feel no need to work, to be useful, they are vampires of society. Those who cry out against ingratitude without examining the problems of supposed ungrateful ones. Those who think they will buy heaven, giving a cent to the service of charity and reserving millions to drive their own descendants crazy in the inventories of blood and hatred. And that's what we once were telling somebody. This person wanted to give a whole sum, build a house, and said, what do you think? I said, you build a house today, you discarnate, and then tomorrow your descendants are going to fight for it. But if you build a non-profit organization, an organization that's going to help others, when you discarnate, more likely you're going to be preventing issues of fights amongst the descendants. So deserters are also those who give a little bit to the good causes, but keep majority of it, claiming that they are keeping it for their descendants. This is Emmanuel. I think this is one of the most striking chapters in this book, because he really eliminates inside of us these doubts about our vibratory push. It's about who we truly are. Oh, I want to be a loving and kind medium, but then in my daily life, I get my thousands of dollars and I use it only for my benefit, and I keep only for my family members, and I give a little bit to the Spirit Center, tiny bit, and I request a lot from the center, and I think I'm doing great, because after all, my family is more important. Interesting, huh? If everybody thought that way, we wouldn't have a center. We wouldn't have Cardiac Radio. We wouldn't have the Spiritist magazine, because everything costs money. And there are people who are channeling their daily bread to sustain this nourishment for other people's souls. If we don't partake on that, we're actually being deserters. Those who condemn and curse instead of understand and bless. And Emmanuel is not condemning anyone. He's just pointing out these are laws of life. Those who have lost their simplicity and need an ivory tower to live. Does it sound anywhere familiar when he talks about tower? And there are many people who are applauding that behavior, who are applauding the behavior of lavish living, knowing that there are millions of people who are under poverty line in the United States of America. That's called desertion, according to the spirits. Those who become dead weight, making difficult the course of good works. They become dead weight, making difficult the course of good works. I know examples of this. It's when you want to do good works in the Spiritist Center, and then your husband or your wife, they create obstacles, because that exists a whole lot, making spouses suffer because they want to do good works. They become dead weight, and at the end of the day, the vibration of theirs are of people who are in desertion of the good works. Think about somebody who deserted a good fight. They become less honorable. And that's why Emmanuel says, compassion. If it's us, he's asking. If we fit in this list in any way, he's saying, let us correct ourselves. But if it's not us and we can find people whom we know that are fitting in this list, compassion for them. And this is the picture that Akiane, when she was 9 years old, she painted, portraying Jesus' compassion towards us when he mentioned, Father, forgive, for they don't know what they're doing. That's what we call compassion. Loving us, he didn't judge. So I'm going to add one element here. Allow me to add an element here. And I'm going to take a piece of paper. Okay. A piece of paper here. Hold on, friends. Because somewhat the camera here is going on and off. So I'm going to write something here. It's a diagram. Okay. A diagram that recently Mentor Joseph brought to us. It's in psychology. Eric Berne, in 1956, he put together a beautiful theory of the human mind and a new understanding of relationships called transactional analysis. You probably have already read the book, Are You Okay? I'm Okay. But beyond it, he says to us, Mentor Joseph, that when we are, and this is us, we have a parent inside of us, an adult, and a child. Because of previous lives' experiences, usually our child is very needy. The parent usually is very critical, okay? And the adult is barely there. The adult is when we feel thinking. We are thinking. And that's what Jesus did. Father, forgive, for they don't know what they're doing. It's the adult that was speaking, the balanced adult. And that's what Eric Berne found out. That we are good in our relationships when we know how to activate the adult, which is the thinking, knowing how to balance the child, leaving the realm of neediness and spoiled attitude to be a joyful child inside of us. And the inner parent, instead of being critical and judgmental, being a nurturing parent, one that has compassion. So why we're saying this? Because when we're deserting, we're either on the needy child or the critical, judgmental parenting, never on the adult. When we feel like drinking alcohol, it's the child that needs it. Says, oh, let's have fun. Yeah, let's get drunk. It's just fun. That's the child, the voice of the child. Oh, come on, Vanessa, it's fun. Yeah, I know. It's the child. The child that is not truly joyful is lacking something and needs it. Or the critical parent that is condemning others and not being understanding or compassionate. So Emmanuel is not being judgmental. He's just saying, let us be adults, balanced adults, and fight for the victory of the eternal good. Only the balanced adult inside of us can do this. Only. And Jesus comes as a model of a balanced adult. He doesn't in any way display the characteristics of a needy child. But I want this way. I'm the governor of the planet. It's a child. He doesn't do that. Or he condemns. He doesn't condemn. When people ask him to condemn, he doesn't go there. What do you think of this woman? He says, who is judging you? He's saying, I'm not judging you. Not because he's washing his hands, but because it doesn't belong to him. Like in our lives, people are going to ask us to do things. We don't need to do it. They can say, Vanessa, can you do this? Can you say this to that person? Can you intervene? Can you... I say, you know, I think it could be possible another route. Not necessarily this route. So tonight, Emmanuel is boosting the adult in us and saying, think before you allow the needy child inside of you to take action. And keep the conditionings of the past. Stop condemning, criticizing, because that's not getting you anywhere. And instead, fight for the victory of the eternal good. How? How? You know the answer. Seek the good. How? You have bread? Don't keep it only for yourself. You have money? No. The money is not yours. It's given through you, not to you. You have a baby in your belly? Bless it. But Vanessa, I don't know how. Yeah, I understand. But God knows. You don't, but God knows. That's what it is to fight for the victory of the eternal good. Not exterminating a life. And if anybody did that, correction and self-forgiveness and love. Love for those who really need help. There are many aging beings in houses of rehab, nursing homes. They have no family, no love whatsoever, and you could be a loving hug in their lives, a loving smile, somebody who remembers that they are important. Why? Because they are children of God, right? Let me say hi to our friends before we wrap up and get to the next level, okay? Marcia Puntel, how are you? Merry Christmas. And Lisa Teles, how are you? Who else is here? Lívia Moraes, how are you, Lívia? Karina Alice, Rihanna, Enico, Valéria Benfica, Feliz Natal, Sol Souza, Luiz Camargo, Paula, how are you? Rafael Medeiros, how are you, Rafael? Yay, Jorge Monteiro Gomes, how are you? Daniela de Souza, what a joy, Daniela, you're with us, right? Luiz Camargo, yes, friends, here we are. Hopefully, I got Rudy, yes. So, friend, I know this lesson today is transformative, probably to levels unimaginable. Yes, I know how hard it is sometimes to understand these messages. But what is important is it's a warning, so we don't waste time anymore. We can't. Time is too precious. And we're really at the corner of a new life on the earth. There is no time anymore. It's exam phase. You know, exam week? That's the planetary transition we're living in. It's exam time. Difficult. We need resilience, endurance, and a lot of faith, a lot of hope, a lot of courage, a lot of love in our hearts. What matters is to be charitable. Talking about charity, tomorrow, yes, it's going to be Christmas Eve. God willing, we'll be here. Yes, that's our plan. And it's going to be about charity and tolerance. What a perfect fit. I wish we had planned it, and I didn't. Teresa Catapano, how are you? And I didn't, but the good spirits did. Because on Christmas Eve, we're going to be here talking about what Emmanuel says. Millions of individuals await Jesus, crowned in a carriage of glory. He is the great renewal of the humanity. But Jesus walks amongst men as a common server from village to village. How can we dare to create comfortable situations to recall the Master if we know that He certainly will be where there is more pain? Christmas Eve, shall we? Charity and tolerance. Friends, and we're gonna sing tomorrow. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Come back so we can sing, right, Carol Correa? Just saw you there as well. Oh man, Cessa is here. Now I can see it. Yes, Lé Severo, La Souza. Yes, I can see Sunshine, Raquel Bakeshi, Annie Mercy, Aline, how are you? And Karina Alice, Adilson, Ana Paula, Carol Smith, yes. Nora Brasil, Teresa Castro, Cissa Costa, beautiful Angelita. Yes, I can see the friends I couldn't see before. So here we are, friends. Come back tomorrow so we can work together on boosting the best in us and seeking the good on the very Christmas Eve. God willing, we will be here together. Okay? Thank you, friends. A big hug of gratitude.